On my anniversary, Dad said, "We used your savings to help your brother buy a house. You'll understand when you're more responsible." Mom added, "Family first, always." I didn't argue. I walked out, closed the joint account, and pulled the car title from the safe. By sunrise, the car was gone, and that wasn't the only thing I took back. "Don't twist this, Elijah." Dad's voice cracked through the living room like thunder. "We had to use your savings. Your brother needed the down payment." Mom's words came softer, trembling. "You'll understand when you're more responsible. Family first, always." Their anniversary cake sat half-eaten on the table, roses wilting beside it. The TV hummed quietly in the background, trying to fill the silence they didn't notice. Grant, my older brother, was leaned back on the couch, scrolling through his phone like he wasn't the center of the storm. I stood by the doorway, still holding the small envelope I'd brought, an anniversary card and a gift card tucked inside. It suddenly felt ridiculous. Dad pointed his finger at me, his tone sharp. "You're just standing there again. Always quiet, always judging." I said nothing. I'd learned a long time ago that silence hurt them more than shouting ever could. He slammed his glass down. "Maybe if you were more responsible, we'd actually trust you with something." Something inside me shifted. Not anger, not shock, just a slow, clean break. I walked over to the table, placed my keys down gently beside the cake knife, and looked at him. "You already did," I said quietly. Mom frowned. "Don't do anything foolish, Elijah." I smiled, calm. "Too late for that." The room froze when Grant's phone buzzed. He glanced down, and his smirk vanished. Dad," he muttered. "The transfer reversed. Says the joint account's locked." Dad's head snapped toward me, confusion in his eyes. I turned, picked up my jacket, and said softly, "Guess you should have trusted me while you still could. My name's Elijah Ward, 27. I'm the quiet one, the easy one, the one who says yes so no one else has to feel bad. People think silence means weakness, but in my house, it was survival. Every word was a weapon, every truth a target. You learn to listen, not because you want to, but because you have to. They used my savings for the family, my credit just for a few months, my time, because you're not busy anyway. I never complained. I thought that's what family meant. Until tonight, because while they were laughing about my boring little job, I'd already moved every dollar out of reach. The joint accounts, the car title, even the family trust papers, everything they'd quietly shifted under my name when I was too quiet to notice. I noticed. I just waited. Grant, 29, was the golden boy. Dad's mirror, confident, selfish, charming when needed. Mom said he just had more needs. I called it what it was. Permission. Dad, Michael Ward, retired cop, still thought every conversation was an interrogation. Control was his love language. Mom, Diane, played the peacekeeper. Soft voice, tired eyes. But she never kept peace. She just hid the bruises truth left behind. Tonight the house felt smaller, like the walls had been holding their breath for years. Grant leaned forward, voice sharp. "You're overreacting, man. It's just money." Dad nodded. "Exactly. We raised you better than this selfishness." Mom whispered, "Please, not tonight. Don't ruin it." I finally spoke. "You already did." Their heads turned, startled by my tone. Dad's jaw tightened. "Watch it." But I didn't stop. "You want to talk about selfishness? You used my savings to buy him a house." Grant laughed. "I'll pay you back." "You said that when you took my bike money, when you borrowed my college fund, when you used my credit card for your emergency." Mom's eyes welled up. "Elijah, please." I took a breath. "You don't want me to talk, because deep down you all know what you did." Grant rolled his eyes. "You act like you're perfect. You're not honest either." Dad cut in. "Enough. We're not doing this again. You always make yourself the victim." I looked at him. "Victim?" I said quietly. No, Dad. I'm just the one who stopped pretending this was normal. His face darkened. That tone. I've watched my tone for 27 years, I said, and it never made you listen. That was the moment the air shifted. You could feel it, the power leaving their hands. Grant sneered, trying to save face. You're mad because you've got nothing. No house, no wife, no life. I smiled faintly. I had all three. You just took the house part. Mom gasped. Elijah, stop! But I wasn't angry. I was clear. You all keep taking, and when I finally say no, I'm ungrateful. That's not family. That's convenience. Dad's hand trembled. You watch your mouth. Maybe it's time you watched your reflection, I replied. For the first time in my life, Dad looked unsure. And just then, something else clicked. The whisper between Mom and Dad, the one I wasn't supposed to hear. Does he know about the trust? I turned slowly. The trust. Dad froze. Mom's fork fell against her plate. Grant muttered, Nice one, Dad. What trust? I asked again. Mom hesitated. It's something your grandfather set up for the house. I stepped closer. It was supposed to be shared, wasn't it? Her silence said everything. You transferred it all to Grant, I said. You didn't need it, she whispered. You're single. So you punished me for not having a wife? Grant groaned. Oh my God, Elijah, get over yourself. I laughed, quietly, bitterly. I'm not the one who forged signatures. Dad's head snapped up. Watch what you're saying. I've seen every document, I said. You used my name on those. Transfers, Dad. I've been signing your papers for 2 years, and you never realized I kept copies. The silence that followed was a living thing. Grant's voice cracked. You can't prove that. I already did. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were printed transactions, emails, notarized forms. Everything. Mom's face went pale. Elijah, what have you done? What you should have done, I said. Told the truth. Transfers, Dad. I've been signing your papers for 2 years, and you never realized I kept copies. The silence that followed was a living thing. Grant's voice cracked. You can't prove that. I already did. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were printed transactions, emails, notarized forms. Everything. Mom's face went pale. Elijah, what have you done? What you should have done, I said. Told the truth. Dad stood there, shoulders shaking. You wouldn't ruin your own family. You already did, I said softly. Mom tried to reach for me, tears slipping down her face. We did what we thought was best. I stepped back. No, Mom. You did what was easy. Grant stormed out, slamming the door so hard the photo frames rattled. Dad sank into his chair, eyes hollow. I took the deed from my folder and placed it gently on the table. Everything's back where it belongs, I said. And it's not yours anymore. When I walked outside, the cold hit me like a second breath. The street was quiet. For the first time in my life, so was my mind. Mom followed me to the porch, her voice shaking. You really hate us that much? I turned. No, Mom. I just finally love myself enough. Her eyes softened. For a second, she looked smaller, sadder. You always were the quiet one, she said. Not anymore, I replied. I got in my car. My car. The title already transferred that morning. The headlights cut through the dark as I drove away. In the rearview mirror, the house faded behind me, just a dim blur of lights and memory. My phone buzzed. One last notification. Final transfer confirmed. Trust reinstated to original heir, Elijah Ward. Months passed. They sold the house, moved somewhere smaller. Mom texted a few times, short, awkward messages that danced around the word sorry. Dad didn't reach out. Maybe pride, maybe guilt, maybe both. Grant's house got repossessed. The car I'd co-signed for him, gone too. I didn't smile about it, not really. Some lessons are just expensive. As for me, I bought a cabin near the lake. It's quiet there, peaceful. The kind of silence that doesn't hurt anymore. Sometimes when the sun sets and the water turns gold, I think about all those years I spent trying to earn a family that never wanted to understand me. Now I just let the wind do the talking. They taught me silence was weakness. Turns out, it was just the sound of my strength growing. For the first time, I don't carry their weight, only my own, and it finally feels light. If you were in my place, would you forgive them or walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your story might help someone find their strength too, like if you felt Elijah's quiet power. Subscribe for more real stories of truth, betrayal, and healing, because sometimes the quietest ones carry the loudest hearts.